In the previous video, we went through the enemy design, and this task after that was for me to design the main gimmick of the game, which is the game's combat. And this person over here, Prez, you may know him as the host of the Friend of the Year in the Awards, summarized it pretty well when he reacted to the 2026 teaser. So to put it in his words,
that game is about the art of creation and how they're able to gamify that. It is an incredible work of passion.
See, in Sword of Symphony, you wield the power of music. However, in this game, as it is a game about concepts, drafts, and ideas, you picking up what I'm putting down? Yeah, you fight with the power of concepts, drafts, and ideas. No, that won't spoil too much, but in the beginning of the chapter, you get this object that you can pretty much make any concept from that exists as an idea in the garden, which, if you've watched the previous videos, you'll know is the name of this concept realm, from which our main character, the first draft, is born, and journeys on his way to develop into the concept that Stefan from Sword of Symphony would later be based on. The first draft, which is the name of the main character, uses this for the weapons he fights with in his attack combos, which is why I have the range of attacks in the attack combo be a pretty diverse array. For example, here's a look at the ground combo, and here's the air combo. Pretty nuts, right? You also have the ability to switch to a rifle in real time to help open up enemies or keep them at bay. And you're also able to spawn specific concepts to help defeat enemies faster and in more creative ways that they wouldn't be expecting. For example, a hole which drops enemies from underneath, a car which you can use for crowd control, and a dog which you can command to attack enemies for you, particularly if there's too many for you to handle alone. These are the three that you get in chapter 1, however, different ones, a lot more diverse than these, will be available to you as the chapters progress. And in fact, because of the open-ended nature of this game after Sword of Symphony, let me know in the comments which concepts you'd like to see being wielded in the game. I'm leaving the floor to you on this one. And again, if you've watched the previous video, you'll know that the key here is primarily to outsmart the enemies. Since even with concepts like the hull, for example, the enemies can still dodge that since, I mean, how could you not see that coming? However, while they're dodging it, well, would you look at that? You can't cover and block at the same time now, can you? And thus, you're open. And now get ready for this beatdown. This is the gameplay loop of chapter 0 of this game in a nutshell. Which isn't a very long chapter, but I have put enough in there to keep you intrigued. It's like my other game, Soul Survivor, which I released last year, but way more tactical and with more plot. And seeing how many of you who played it enjoyed it, since, well, I mean, it got to number 13 top selling paid game on itch back in September, I think you'll like this chapter a lot. Also, side note, if you want to quickly and easily learn how I made games like this, I have dropped a free tutorial course for you on YouTube. No more DMing me asking me for tutorials. These 9 videos will get you up and running. Links to all that in my bio. Back to the video, one of the other things you can do in the combat is Aikido throw enemies, as you can see here. Purely because I've always been a fan of martial arts. Well, also I actually am a martial artist as well, ever since I was 10 years old. And my experience is actually the main inspiration behind every fight scene I've ever choreographed. That's why if you look at any of my fight choreo, anyway, that's the topic for another video. Let me know if you want that and I'm making on this account. Anyway, yeah, that's also another way you can outsmart and open enemies in the game. And with all the components of the game's combat done, I could move on to the next task, which was making the UI, which stands for user interface in case you don't know. And I'm looking forward to explaining it, especially when it comes to the idea behind it. So I'll see you in my next video where I'll go over that. Peace.